Sun, Moon and Rising. They represent different traits and characteristics of your personality. Sometimes they are called Big Three because it's a really basic foundation. Although your birth chart is an interconnected web of different houses, planets and aspects, this is really where you have to start. I will put a link in the description box for calculating your rising and your moon sign, so you can check that below and then come back here. So let's start with rising sign. It's the sign that was rising over the eastern horizon at the time that you were born. Due to 24-hour Earth rotation, the rising sign moves really fast and it changes sign every 2 or 2.5 hours. It's the fastest of these three signs, which makes it most specific to you. And it's not because it describes you the most, because in natal astrology there is not one component that you can say that describes you to the core of your being, because it would be too simple, but because it's essential for where other components of the chart, the houses, even end up being. So it's from the technical standpoint. And also I have to say that you are so much more than just your birth chart, and instead of looking at your birth chart as simply psychology map, look at it as a map of different events that are activated at the different points of your life. It's also your primary motivation for living. For example, if you have Pisces rising, then you are probably motivated by exploring your last night's dream and dwelling into that. But if you are Virgo rising, you are much more technical and your motivation is to, let's say, bring structure to your life and the life of others. Also, find the ruler of your ascendant, because the ruler, it has so much to say about in what direction your life will be eventually sooner or later steered at. And let's say if you are Taurus rising, then planet Venus rules Taurus. Let's say that your Venus is in the 5th house of creativity, then you will be drawn into that part of you, that creative and playful expression. And although you might have, for example, 3 other personal planets in the 7th house, let's say you are a psychologist, of course there will be that pull towards the other, and you will want to work with clients, but you won't escape that creative pull in you, and you will obviously try to put that into your vocation also. So now let's talk about the Sun and the Moon. Overall, they represent the topic of the house that they rule. We could describe them as their archetypal meaning, but we will get into that later. And now it's more important to think of it from the standpoint of planetary rulerships. That means that every planet, or Sun and the Moon, which are luminaries, they rule houses. So whatever sign is a whole sign house, this sign, Cancer, Capricorn, has a planetary ruler. And following this logic, Sun represents the topic of whatever house Leo is in, and Moon represents the topic of whatever house Cancer is in. So if Leo is your 2nd house, then the Sun represents your money and possessions, and if it's your 4th house, it represents your home or living situation. The archetypal meaning of the sun is our core identity, and the sun wants to shine and pursue the area that it rules, because just from the logic, the sun is the center of our solar system and everything revolves around it, and we could also describe it as egoic creativity. It's not in a bad sense, but just it's how it is. It strives towards its placement and the area that you do. It can also represent father figure in our life. It's because our father tends to be this powerful, forcing, consistent force in our life, but it depends on your chart. There's more to it. Simply, it represents recognition, what you are intellectually recognized for, more than your inner sense of self, and unless the sun rules your first house. So, if you are Leo rising, then the sun rules your first whole sign house, and then it has something to say about your personality, your body and appearance, but it's only in this case. The sun makes things visible, so the topic of the house that it rules is often very visible or public. Your moon will be tied to whatever whole sign house Cancer corresponds in your chart, and it usually represents a maternal figure in your life, but it can also be some feminine force, for example, a woman that took care of you when you were little or when you were growing up, and for example, someone who helped you find your job or taught you how to kind of move through certain areas in your life. If moon is ruling your first house, then it will represent your identity, your sense of self. If it's ruling your third house, then it will represent the manner of your communication. It also depends how your moon is situated in your birth chart. Let's say if there is a square from Saturn, then it will be more challenging for you to find peace, and you will have to put more work towards leading a peaceful life and getting along with others. It is also connected to body cycles, how you regulate yourself. So it's connected to sleeping, to digesting and regenerative processes. If you have a well-placed moon, then your body naturally how to relax. Moon also represents what make you feel safe, and if something unexpected happens, then what you do to concentrate yourself to make you feel better. So, for example, if you have Taurus moon, then probably you go after good food and drink. If you have moon in Scorpio, then you really want to figure out psychologically what happened and why it happened that way, and what you have to do for it to not happen again. If you have moon in Cancer, then you want to reconnect to your body and take a deep breath. If you have moon in Gemini, then you want to talk to someone and express your feelings and thoughts, and so on. So that would be it for today's video. You can let me know if you have some questions, and I am interested to know what are your placements and how you experience it. So thank you for watching and have a nice day.